Have you ever stopped to think that you might be isolating yourself without even realizing it? That loneliness is not just a feeling, but a real risk to your health and happiness? At first, it seems normal, a time for yourself, a moment of peace. But days turn into months, and before you know it, you're alone. And worse, no one seems to notice. Today, I'm going to show you how this silent danger can be affecting your life, and more importantly, how you can reverse this situation before it's too late. Stay with me until the end, because at the end of this video, I'm going to give you a practical challenge to overcome loneliness today. First, the danger of isolation. That's exactly what happened to Carlos. At first, he thought everything was fine. A day without talking to anyone, then a week, a month. The phone stopped ringing, the messages disappeared, and what once seemed like just a moment of rest became a weight on his chest, an unexplained sadness. He began to get used to the silence, but he didn't realize that the silence was becoming deafening. At first, Carlos even enjoyed the peace. No social obligations, no idle chatter, no need to answer to anyone. But little by little, what seemed like freedom turned into loneliness. The mornings became longer, the nights quieter. He could hear the echo of his own footsteps inside the house and felt a pang in his heart when he saw other people laughing together in the cafe next to his window. He couldn't remember the last time he had truly laughed. Little by little, the physical symptoms began to appear. His body felt heavier, his thoughts slower. He slept more but woke up still tired. The energy he used to have for small things, like making a good breakfast or taking a walk in the park, simply disappeared. He began to feel unexplained pain, and the energy that had seemed natural before was replaced by constant tiredness. But the worst came later. Carlos discovered that loneliness is not just a passing feeling. It can make you sick, weaken you, and even shorten your life. Studies show that isolated people have a higher risk of developing heart disease, high blood pressure, and even Alzheimer's. Prolonged loneliness can increase the body's stress levels, causing chronic inflammation and accelerating aging. More than just an emotional state, loneliness has become a real danger to your physical and mental health. And now I ask you, how many times have you ignored these signs? How many times have you pretended that everything was fine, when in fact you felt that something was wrong? Are you also falling into this silent trap without realizing it? Second, friendships and mental health. Carlos, for example, worked hard his entire life. He raised his family, did what needed to be done. But over time, he realized that he was increasingly alone. His children went their separate ways. His friends were a thing of the past. He looked at his phone and no longer received as many calls. The routine that was once full of commitments was reduced to a cold and constant silence. At first, he didn't care. It's normal, he thought. But over time, he began to lose interest in the things he once enjoyed. Movies were no longer funny, music seemed empty. The small joys began to disappear, and he began to feel constantly tired, a heaviness that he couldn't explain. It was as if the brightness of his life had been gently extinguished, without him realizing it. The answer? A lack of connection. The human brain needs interaction. Studies show that people with active friendships have a lower risk of depression and anxiety. The simple act of talking, sharing stories, and laughing with someone releases hormones that combat stress and increase feelings of well-being. It was only when Carlos met a childhood friend by chance on a walk in the park that everything changed. They recognized each other immediately and started reminiscing about the old days. They laughed like they hadn't laughed in years. At that moment, Carlos felt something different. It was as if a dormant part of him had awakened. That encounter brought back the lightness he didn't even know he was missing. What about you? Do you believe that loneliness is a choice or something that just happens? I want to know your opinion. Third, sharing experiences and challenges. After that encounter, Carlos realized that he wasn't the only one feeling the weight of time. His friend was also going through the same challenges. Life, with all its changes and twists and turns, had separated many people from their old social circles. But, at that reunion, he realized something important. No one needs to carry these burdens alone. It was at that moment that he discovered the power of sharing worries and memories. He and his friends spent hours talking about their lives, the good and bad times, the achievements and the challenges. And each word spoken seemed to lighten the weight that both of you were carrying a little more. How many times have you felt like this? Thinking that you are alone, when in fact many people feel the same. Isolation creates an illusion that we are the only ones going through difficulties, but the truth is that sharing these experiences connects us and makes us stronger. The key to breaking out of this cycle is simple: sharing. Many times, when you help a friend, you also make yourself stronger. Exchanging experiences creates bonds, brings comfort, and reminds us that, at the end of the day, we are all human beings in search of connection. Mutual support can transform dark days into moments of learning and growth. So, when was the last time you shared your worries with someone? Who knows, maybe that friend you haven't seen in a while also needs this conversation. Fourth, where to find new friends. Carlos realized that he needed to break out of the cycle of loneliness. But where to find new friends? At first, the idea seemed scary. He was no longer used to socializing, and was somewhat afraid of being rejected. But then he remembered something simple. Connections don't just happen. You have to create opportunities. He started going to new places. Churches, clubs, reading groups, sports, walks in the park. Little by little, he realized that small daily interactions could lead to great friendships. A simple good morning to a neighbor, a casual comment in line at the grocery store, an unpretentious conversation at the gym. All of these could be the beginning of a true connection. The truth is that friends don't just appear out of nowhere. You need to put yourself on the path to friendships. Take the first step. Get out of your comfort zone, participate in events, get involved in activities that interest you. A simple act of opening yourself up to new possibilities can transform your life. What about you? Are you willing to take that first step? Fifth, the importance of opening yourself to new things. Carlos realized that the biggest obstacle to new friendships was not the lack of opportunities, but rather himself. For years, he convinced himself that making new friends after a certain age was difficult, almost impossible. He thought that people already had their own lives, that no one would be interested in meeting someone new. So he got used to the silence, the solitary routine, the deceptive comfort of not exposing himself. But the truth is that sometimes all we need is a chance, or rather, the courage to take the first step. It was only when, in a cafe, a nice lady commented on the atmosphere, and he, instead of just smiling and agreeing, decided to continue the conversation, that he realized how small interactions can open doors to new connections. A few minutes of conversation resulted in laughter, shared stories, and an invitation to a group that met every week to talk and have coffee. At that moment, Carlos realized something essential. He had already started over so many times in life, at work, with his family, in daily challenges. Why should friendship be any different? And now I ask you, how many opportunities for connection have you let pass you by simply because you believed it wasn't worth trying? The next time you're in a new place, try something new. Smile, make small talk, ask something simple like, "Do you come here often?" Or "What did you think of this place?" It may seem like a small thing, but these small interactions are like seeds. Some don't sprout, but others can blossom into beautiful friendships. Opening yourself up to new things doesn't mean waiting for others to come to you. It means taking the first step. Are you willing to give it a try? Sixth, keeping in touch is essential. Carlos realized that meeting people wasn't enough. He needed to keep in touch. Small gestures make a difference. A message, a phone call, an invitation for coffee. Friendship is like a plant. If you don't water it, it dries up. Now think about it. How long has it been since you sent a message to an old friend? How about picking up your phone right now and asking how they are doing? Seventh, the power of a good conversation. Carlos discovered that the secret is not just in meeting people, but in actually talking. Sometimes, all we need is someone to listen. Talking not only about problems, but about simple things, small joys of everyday life. What about you? Have you ever noticed how a good conversation can change your day? Loneliness can be a silent trap, and if you don't pay attention, you can find yourself trapped in it. But the good news is that there is always a way back. Now here's a challenge. Grab your phone and send a message to a friend you haven't spoken to in a while. Then, come back here and tell me in the comments how it went. If this video made sense to you, like, share and subscribe for more content that can transform your life. Let's work together to make friendship a true fuel for happiness.